I watched the first Mamma Mia for the first time about 4 days before I saw the sequel. I had to get ready. It was on Netflix. There was no excuse. A lot of people in my life were pressuring me to watch it. I was like, okay, I'll do it. You know, I got nothing against musicals. I'm a huge fan of musicals, actually. But my sister used to listen to the soundtrack to the first Mamma Mia all the time, and I got kind of put off of it for a while. Finally got around to it. Wasn't my favorite movie, but I definitely saw the appeal of just how crazy it was. And now here we are 10 years later after that, and we get a sequel for some reason. Well, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, of course. And I actually enjoyed this one a lot. I think some of that was helped by having seen the first one, kind of knowing what I was getting into. If I had known what I was getting into and when I watched the first one, I probably would have enjoyed it a little more. I still enjoyed it a little bit, but I think I wasn't quite in the right frame of mind to enjoy it at that time. But this one, I had a good time, although there were some things that did kind of bug me. The first thing is there were a lot slower songs. You know, they used all the big, well-known ABBA hits in the first film, and in this one they had to dig a little bit deeper. I'm not a huge ABBA fan. I enjoy lots of their music, but I hadn't really listened to much outside of what was in the first Mamma Mia film. There were a few I knew that were in the second film, but a lot of them were songs I'd never heard before, which I didn't really think mattered, but there were a lot of them that were slower paced, not the big crowd numbers that are the parts I really enjoy. And when it's just like 2 or 3 characters kind of singing along, doing their thing, it wasn't as fun as when they have, 50 people just doing crazy choreography and random people coming out of nowhere to do stuff with weird costumes. Those I thought were where the movie shined as well as where the first one shined. And there were definitely a few more slower songs, less pompous songs than in the first one. The second thing is that a big part of the story is drawing parallels between Sophie's life in present day and her mom's life before we meet her in the first film. Donna is the mom, who was Meryl Streep in the first film, now Lily James, who I know from Baby Driver. She's probably been in other stuff. But she is young Donna, and we're seeing her meet the people who are Sophie's 3 fathers, but they are noticeably different than when we see their younger versions in the first film. And it's weird to be kind of picking at the plot details of a jukebox musical based on ABBA songs, but it just bothered me that there was a whole joke in the first film of how we see these grown men, and then Donna has these quick flashbacks to, how they were so different when she knew them. It was like 15 years before or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. 20 maybe? I'm not entirely sure. But it was like, look how much things have changed. Like, I hardly know you guys now. But then in this one, when we actually get to meet them for a lengthy period of time, it's like, they're pretty much the same as they are as adults now. And not at all like you remembered them in the first movie. So it kind of like undermines that joke. That being said, I enjoyed what they did with the characters in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. So it wasn't too angering, and again, I wasn't really too focused on what the whole story was, because I don't think that's like the best part, but it was just kind of nagging, like, that kind of messes up the thing here. It's and then you just throw your hands up because Cher comes on screen, and you're like, yeah, let's go. But outside of those, I had a blast. The big song numbers that were there I thought were great. It's mostly new songs, but they did bring back a few of the old ones. The Mamma Mia version here, I loved it. And the end credit song, I didn't think they could outdo Waterloo from the first one, but I really think they did. It was like, it was so great. And all the the characters in between songs. The scenes are filled with all the camp and ridiculousness you'd expect from the first one. That is all there. And I think if you enjoyed the first one, you'll probably enjoy the second one too, because it's ridiculous in all the right ways and still has those fun big dance numbers, except Cher's there this time. So, and Lily James. So I think it's a fun, ridiculous musical just to not take too seriously and just have a great time. Definitely recommend for any fans of the first one, or any fun musical fans, I guess. I don't know. That's a terrible way to end it, but I'm gonna do it because I'm rambling now.